On today's show, the LA Clippers saw John Collins and Kawhi Leonard return to the lineup, and I'm going to tell you how they made an impact in crushing the New Orleans Pelicans on today's Locked On Clippers.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, sir. You are locking in with the Clips. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers the first listen of your day, your team every day, and now the number one sports podcast network. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, and of course, subscribe on YouTube and get us to 9,000 subscribers before the end of the season. Make sure you hit the notification bell. And of course, this episode is brought to you by FanDuel, America's number one sportsbook. Head to fanduel.com to get started. Clipper Nation, it was a good day on Sunday night. I was not able to attend the game because I was at an AAU tournament, and just after I watched the game and went live, just died when I went home and figured I got to bring you guys more energy than what I had last night to record that episode. So on these Sundays and Saturdays after the AAU all day long, being there since 7 in the morning, I'm done. I'm sorry for the late releases, but again, I have some special plan in the month of March in terms of producing content, so I'll get to that. But let's talk about this episode, and that is going to revolve around the return of John Collins and Kawhi Leonard, the performance of Jordan Miller. We're going to wrap it up by talking about everybody as a whole and the news about Darius Garland tonight. So let's talk right away about the fact that we got John Collins and Kawhi Leonard back. And oh boy, does that make all the difference. Kawhi Leonard, of course, one of the top 5 players in the league in the last 2-3 months of the season. And John Collins has been a huge reason why we turned the season around, because he was playing so poorly in the beginning, and all of a sudden he started hitting shots. His whole game-to-game consistency changed, and we started winning games. And this game, he came back from his, apparently it was a neck. The reason he was out of the last game against the Timberwolves was because of his neck. But he's just been out since that hard fall against the Lakers. And then, of course, Kawhi Leonard missed the Timberwolves game with the ankle soreness. But I was just like, I think they're just giving him a week's rest before this very hectic stretch. And he looked really, really good. And my biggest takeaway is just very obvious. When you get these guys back, we're better than the Pelicans without Zion and Jordan Poole. That's for sure. And we took care of them 137 to 117 in this game. It was a very high scoring game. The most points that we have scored this season in a game. And I think when you play against the Pelicans, right, as far as Clipper fandom goes, in the Kawhi Leonard era, we have really struggled against them. But, and by the way, this game was not a sellout, and it didn't look like one either. But without Zion, without Jordan Poole, who hasn't even been good this season, we took care of business. And we were up right away, just got off to a great start. We're up 18-8, led them to call their first timeout. We're up 28-12 after a Kawhi dunk that kind of cemented a 15-4 run. We had the season high in points for a quarter in that first quarter with 43. Well, for us, of course. We were up 43-32 after one. But they ended the second quarter really well. When we're making a lot of shots from outside. Jeremiah Fears had this highest scoring half of the season, 18 points in the first half. So they actually outscored us 38-33 in the second, and the score was 76-70 at halftime, which I did not like that, because we had done all these amazing things offensively, kicking the ball ahead in transition, going from defense to offense. We were knocking down our threes, which we have not done the last couple of games in this 3-game losing streak. So I was like, damn, this is so good offensively, but defensively, we could not get a stop. Jeremiah Fears was cooking our asses. A lot of it was just tough shot making. But here's the thing about the NBA now. A lot of the difference in these games is just shot making, because every team will have enough pick and roll creators and spacers to get good shots, to get decent looks that NBA players could make. But some teams just have better shot creators and shot makers than others. And it just really comes down to who makes their open threes a lot of the time. And we shot better than the Pelicans from 3 in this game, and the field. We shot 54% from the field. They shot 45%. We shot 47% from 3. 17 for 36, and they shot 36% from three. And then we actually broke even in the free throw department. They shot 83% from the line, and we shot 83%. And they shot one more free throw than we did, 30 to our 29. So we just shot better than them. But again, we're going to shoot better than them when we have better players than them. And that's the basic thing. You know, Kawhi Leonard's coming out super aggressive. They're double teaming him. They're blitzing him in these pick and rolls. They had Herb Jones guarding him to start. Obviously, DeJounte Murray, who was good to see, by the way, after all these months out, and he had a pretty good game on Kris Dunn. They had Trey Murphy on Derrick Jones Jr. So they had basically everyone but Zion. I don't know why our good old friend DeAndre Jordan is starting. I think it's just because they're tanking at this point, because Derek Queen is really good. And I've enjoyed watching him in like extended highlights of the season because I have not watched many Pelicans games. I'll just tell you that right now. But Sadiq Bey was guarding John Collins. And by the way, that's no disrespect to the Pelicans. I just don't have the time, unfortunately. I wish. Because I do like Zion a lot. But they were blitzing, throwing doubles on Kawhi all game long, and I thought Kawhi was doing a really good job making simple plays, finding open shooters. Derrick Jones Jr. was hot from three. Nico Batum came in and gave us 3 threes. Brook Lopez finally had a game where he was knocking down his threes. I mean, so it was kind of, everybody was just kind of feeding off of the Kawhi Leonard plate. And in that last game against Minnesota, we just didn't have a superstar. It's very simple. We didn't even have an all-star that's drawing that much attention. So, you know, right now with Kawhi Leonard, it feels like even would be not, you know, I'm talking, we haven't seen Darius Garland yet. I'm just talking about Kawhi Leonard right now. Just having Kawhi Leonard in the lineup, we have a chance to win on any given night. Like that is how I feel right now. With Kawhi Leonard, we have a chance to win on any given night. And of course, in this game, you know, just having those two guys back made all the difference. I mean, you look at the way we started the game. John Collins had 3 dunks within the first 3 minutes or first 4 or 5 minutes. A putback, a reverse. He was attacking the rim with cruel intentions, or as Brian Seaman would say, cruel intentions for the iron. It was so funny. I was wondering if he's going to say that, and then immediately after I thought, oh, is he going to say cruel? Because he always says that. He said that right away, right after I started thinking it. So interesting. At this point, you know, I'm starting to develop that fan chemistry with Brian Seaman in terms of knowing and thinking about what he's going to say the same way we did with Ralph. So I love the way John Collins came out, especially because when you come off an injury, you just don't know how someone's going to come out. Although, you know, it wasn't like a muscle injury or anything like that. It was like he straight up hit the deck hard, but he was so aggressive. And we just did a really good job early on in the game of taking advantage of the Pelicans' misses. And with this team now, with the Bennedict Mathurin, with Jordan Miller, and these younger guys, Yanic, getting more minutes, we are a more of a transition team. We can push the pace more. We're not the unction. We're not that slow team. But even in the starting lineup, when you have John Collins and DJ, yeah, Brook Lopez and Kawhi Leonard probably don't really want to run. But Kris Dunn and those two, they can get out on the open floor. All it takes is a rebound from Brook or Kawhi and just throw it up the floor, or Kris Dunn and DJ and John on the open floor. I mean, it's real trouble, especially with Derrick Jones. So in that first quarter in which we scored 43 points, we went on a run to make it 18-8. Pelicans called a timeout. Then the 15-4 run that made it 28-12 after Kawhi Leonard had a beautiful dunk. And man, one of my favorite plays of the game was when John Collins had an interception. Kawhi Leonard recovered the ball, goes behind his back on the break, and then dunks it. And I was just like, my God. Kawhi Leonard's handle and the work he's put in with that over the years is maybe more impressive than his shooting. It's like, he has become a guy that does not get the ball stolen from him, that has a tight handle. And I mean, with those big hands, I mean, it is hard to steal the ball. I mean, I know it was the same for Michael Jordan, but it's like just the tightness of it. You know, when he goes tween, yo, like it's just, especially when he's like really in his bag, because that's when you notice when he's really in his bag, like against Detroit, when he's like, when his handle's looking quicker and harder, like he's pounding that shit to the ground. Oh my God, that's when you know Kawhi's like really feeling it. But in that first quarter, it was actually the points were coming from outside of Kawhi. It was Derrick Jones with 9 in the first, John Collins with 8 in the first, Kris Dunn with 7. So 24 of those 43 from those two guys. And then in the second quarter, we got some stuff from Jordan Miller. And coming up, I'm going to be talking more about the way he played. But it was great to get Kawhi and John Collins back. We cruised to a 20-point win, even though after leading by 18, the Pelicans punched back and had it at a 1-point game with a chance to take the lead midway through the third quarter. But then we punched back again, and it all starts with that guy Kawhi and the supporting cast coming through, knocking down the three ball. But coming up, we're going to talk about Jordan Miller. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. March is a time to celebrate women, especially around International Women's Day, and to recognize just how much they carry at work, in relationships, in families, and all the unseen roles they step into every single day. I know my mom wears a lot of hats for my family, and my grandma does the same. It's easy to celebrate that strength, but it's just as important to make space for their emotional well-being. And honestly, that goes for all of us. Your emotional well-being matters. Find support and feel lighter in therapy. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/lockedonnba. That's betterhelp.com/lockedonnba. You can listen to this show ad-free with the Everydayer Club. Not only does it give you an ad-free audio version of this show, you also get put in the Discord with me and other everydayers and listeners of this show. So, like, for example, I got the Discord up right now. We got a couple guys in the chat. Boom, boom. So there you have it. If you want to be a part of that, we have a message from Dan Traz. He said, I cannot wait for Darius Garland to play. And we will be definitely talking about that in the next segment. But let's finish talking about this game, the 137-117 win for the Clippers. And before I talk about Jordan Miller, I just wanted to read the lines of some of the guys. Kawhi Leonard leading the way with 23 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 2 turnovers on 8 for 18 shooting. 1 for 7 from 3. So Kawhi's been in a little bit of a shooting slump from 3 recently. In the month of February, he only shot 33% from downtown. And he opens up with a 14% night in this one. So I think we're going to see regression back to him hitting again very soon, which is going to bode very well for us. But yeah, 23 points in 29 minutes. I thought he was very effective. I thought he was aggressive and just led the way. And, an instant impact when he got back in the lineup, all 3 quarters. First quarter with more of his passing. Second quarter started getting going, scoring more. And then he just continued to be aggressive in that third quarter, getting 2 feet in the paint, always looking to attack, getting to the free throw line 7 times. You've seen an increase of him getting to the free throw line recently as well. So you just love to see that. As far as John Collins, he only made 1 3, but he was just such a breath of fresh air. His energy, his attacking the rim and trying to dunk everything. It was beautiful to watch. 15 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 2 turnovers. 4 of those 7 rebounds were offensive boards. So crashing the offensive glass, which we thought he could do before he even suited up for the Clippers. He did not actually end up shooting well at all. 5 for 14 from the field, 1 for 4 from downtown. But he did make all 4 of his free throws. And in 25 minutes of play, he was a plus 20. He was fantastic. And Kawhi Leonard, by the way, was a plus 25, which was the highest of any player in the game for either side. Derrick Jones Jr., my goodness, what a monster he was in this game, and how great of a feeling is it to have DG back. In the third quarter, these guys, the Pelicans, cut it down to 1 point, but after a Brook Lopez 3 and a Derrick Jones Jr. dunk, we got it up to 6 and never really looked back. We outscored the Pelicans 31-24 in the third and 30-23 in the fourth to outscore them 61-47 in the second half. We absolutely blew it open, and Derrick Jones Jr. was a huge part of that. He had 17 points in the game. to go along with 2 rebounds and no turnovers on 6 for 9 shooting, 3 for 4 from downtown, and made both of his free throws. A 66, 75, 100 shooting night for DJ, 17 points in 28 minutes, and you know what he brings on the defensive end, what he adds to the transition element of this team. When we get steals, when we get rebounds, we can get out and go. He has an amazing ability to do that 1-2, put the ball up high and lay it up, or just attack your chest and elevate over the top of you for a layup, or, of course, flight 5, a dunk. Brook Lopez. Man, I called him Brick Lopez on the last show. We needed a good three-point shooting game from him, and we got one finally. And Brook overall has been really solid this season after that 6-21 start. He's really been one of the biggest reasons why we've kind of turned it around. His rim protection has been very solid. He had no blocks in this game, but he had a steal, and he changed a couple of shots. He had 16 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists in the short roll because he was put in a lot of those situations, 1 steal and 1 turnover. Now, I'm not sure if all 3 of those assists were in the short roll, but he had at least 1 in the short roll. 16 points on 6 for 9 shooting and 4 for 6 from 3, 66% from the field and from 3 in this game, 16 and 7 and 3 assists for Brook Lopez. You're going to take that every single day of the week. If he was to give us that consistently, we're a totally different threat, but that's unrealistic to ask. I would just like him to make a higher percentage of his threes. Before this game, he was shooting 34.5% from 3. That game put him up to 35.2. If he could get up to 37 by the end of the season, that would be ideal. Because as of now, this is his worst three-point shooting season since 2021, which is ironically when he won the championship. But it was a good performance by Brook. And then Kris Dunn, I thought he was phenomenal. 9 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Maybe phenomenal is a stretch, but really good. 9 points, 3 rebounds, 4 dimes, 3 steals, 1 turnover on 4 of 5 shooting from the field, and 1 for 2 from 3. So 80-50 splits for Kris Dunn. A little bit of everything. You know you're going to get his 110% on defense. It's just, you can't say enough about the way he has impacted this team in 2 years. And when he's knocking down shots, forget about it. He's one of the better role players in basketball. So every single starter scored 9 or more points. They all played 22 or more minutes and were really good. But the guy who led the charge off the bench was Jordan Miller. Right away from the get-go, he was getting 2 feet in the paint. He's hitting some floaters in pick and roll. I think he's starting to, work on his pick and roll game because he's got a solid in-between game. The only thing that he doesn't do is when he comes off screens and he has a mid-range to take, he doesn't pull up for it. He likes his floater a lot more, but the thing is, beggars can't be choosers. This is NBA defense and drop coverage. You got to take what's given to you. And I know James Harden somewhat got away with it for so many years, kind of not shooting that mid-range. But that was when he was a freak, right? And he still didn't win a championship. And I do believe that neglecting the mid-range shot did hurt his game in those moments. I always believe that. So Jordan Miller, that's something he should work on. But in terms of getting 2 feet in the paint, in terms of his Euro steps, his side steps, his ability to finish off of 1 foot, it's really uncanny. He's got amazing balance. He had that beautiful spin move into a step back, which 20 years ago for sure would have been called a travel, but now it's legal. Beautiful move. He was awesome. He was aggressive. He was making plays for others. He made a big 3 in the second half. We've seen with Jordan, he had that stretch where he was like consistently scoring in double figures for us. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games in double figures in a row in January. And it was like 11 out of 13 games in double figures for him. And then he had 6 straight games with single-digit points. And then now he's back to scoring 4 straight in double figures again. So we thought maybe with Bennedict Mathurin that Jordan Miller would be limited going forward. But that hasn't really happened. Jordan Miller has still been able to get buckets and do his thing, especially in these last couple of games. 10 points against Minnesota. He was 5 for 7 in that one. 14 points against Orlando. He was also 5 for 7 in that one. 10 points against the Lakers, although he did not do very well in that fourth quarter. But yeah, that's coming off a 1-point game, a 4-point game, against Houston and Denver respectively. So he's starting to get back into the swing of things, and he's had this best season of his career, and he obviously got converted from a two-way contract to a standard deal. He's earned it, and I just love seeing him succeed because he's one of our own. 19 points, 2 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 steals, and no turnovers for Jay Mill. 5 for 6 from the field, 1 for 1 from downtown, and he shot 8 for 11 from the free throw line. Those 11 free throw attempts were the game high for any player on either team. And in 32 minutes, Jordan Miller is my player of the game for this one. I'm happy for him. I'm happy to see that he also was our highest minutes getter, 32 minutes. I thought it was fantastic. And hopefully we get more of that against the Warriors. But coming up, going to talk about Bennedict Mathurin, Yanic Konan Niederhauser, Nico Batum's performance in the game, and then rounding it off with the return of Darius Garland. I got to tell you a little something about FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. College basketball is nonstop. Big games, tight spreads, momentum swings every single night. From early tip-offs to late-night West Coast shootouts, there's always action on the board. And guess what month it is, ladies and gentlemen? It's March. And you already know what that means. FanDuel's giving you a way to turn that energy into even bigger potential wins with a college basketball parlay profit boost. You can build any college hoops parlay you want. Rivalry games, ranked matchups, whatever fits. Go safe, go bold. Ride with the team you've been following all season. It's your parlay, your style. Now, my roommate Will, he thinks that Michigan, he's been saying from day one that Michigan's going to win the national championship. Right now, they have the highest odds on FanDuel at plus 300. You got Duke at plus 350 with Boozer's kid, Cam Boozer. And then the Arizona Wildcats at plus 500. I'm going to just tell you this right now. Don't bet on them. Now, and that's only because Arizona always seems to choke. But you can go to FanDuel to get all your betting needs and fix for college hoops. All your needs. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel. Play your game. I got to tell you a little something about Indeed. Workplace chaos, deadlines stacking up, inbox overflowing, and the one position you have to fill still open, sitting open. You need to figure out who the right person for your job is. When the pressure's on and you need the right hire, this is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. Because Indeed sponsored jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for, from skills to where they're located, to how much experience they have in the field, and how much you trust them. So you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed sponsored jobs. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. All right, let's talk about Yanic real quick in this 137-117 win for your Clippers. I thought Yanic was solid. I think that it's going to take some time for him to get used to how to time his block attempts. NBA players are really crafty. They find a way to get their layups off or their floaters off before you think they are. They might, not take that step to get on their right foot. They might take it off the same foot and you're not ready for it. They're going to put enough arc on it that it's going to go over your fingertips and go above, high above the square, and it's going to bank in. It's the timing of, when you want to step up, when you want to stunt, when you want to make that play to go attack the offensive player as the big and drop coverage. I think that's going to take some time for Yanic to really get down. But 7 points, because that's why Brook Lopez still looks like a better rim protector at times than Yanic, even though Yanic has so much more bounce. Like, Brook knows the angles of it all. 7 points and 6 boards and 1 block for Yanic. No turnovers, which is good to see. No illegal screens. 2 for 3 from the field. Made all 3 of his free throws. Had a beautiful spin move, left-hand finish. and I believe it was the first half. Yeah, the first half on a short roll catch. I thought that was beautiful. So 7 and 6 in 20 minutes. He was a plus 10. I thought he was pretty solid. Nico Batum. It's really great to see Nico knock down his open shots. It really is. Because we could really use that. Because he already know what he's going to do otherwise. He's going to move the ball quickly. He's going to play some solid defense. He had 9 points, 3 boards, and 4 dimes to go along with no turnovers on 3 for 5 shooting, and all his shots were threes. 60% three-point shooting in 20 minutes. You will take that from Nico. And then Ben Mathurin, I thought he took some bad shots. I thought there were times where he kind of stopped the ball and took some bad shots, contested pull-ups. I think he's just got to simplify his game. He's got to get downhill more. Because there were some times where he got fouled and they didn't call it, but he can get downhill every time. He's got a decent first step. He has a better finishing ability, in my opinion, than his jump shooting ability. And I think he's an underrated passer, but he's got to get downhill. Like he always looks to attack, which is fine because we need guys that can create. But I don't think his shooting is not great, right? He can get better at it. I don't know how much better he can get at it because shooting is not as easy to get better at as people think. However, I think it's still the easiest thing to get better at like this stage. I guess maybe besides the thinking of the game. From a skill perspective, I don't know. I think you can get better laterally, but you're probably as laterally quick as you're going to be for the most part. You can get better at passing, but I don't know how many guys become that much better of a passer. Shooting, I've seen guys, like look at Kawhi, for example. Even Brook Lopez was always a good shooter, but he became like a longer distance shooter. Jordan Miller's clearly put in some work with his jump shot. I think he can become a better shooter. I think this summer he's got to just get in the gym and shoot 1,000 shots, at least hundreds of shots a day, like hundreds off the dribble. Have a guy just contesting. I know it's hard to simulate a game situation, playing runs, but he's got to really practice if you're going to shoot so many contested jumpers, he's got to practice it because he's not hitting at a high enough clip to shoot as many as he's taking. And I get it. I get exactly why Indiana played him as a sixth man because offensively, he has sixth-man tendencies. He gets the ball, and he makes tough shots, but he's inconsistent, and he doesn't really look to swing it very much. But defensively, he's been really solid. Outside of some moments off ball getting lost, he's been pretty engaged. He's worked hard every game. He had a really nice block from behind and help in this one. I thought his defense was really solid, and that's why his plus-minus was good, because defensively he helped. He wasn't a liability. But he had 9 points, 5 boards, and only 1 assist, 1 block, 1 turnover, on 4 for 13 shooting, 0 for 3 from 3, and 1 for 2 from the free throw line. So when you look at Ben's recent game log, he was 4 for 13 in this one. He was 4 for 14 against Minnesota. And then before that, he was shooting pretty well, besides the Houston games. Like, he had those 2 Houston games in the beginning. And then he shot well against... he had the 1 Houston game in the beginning where he was 3 for 10. And, he did play 2 games against Houston, yeah. He was 4 for 13 in the first one, and then he was 3 for 10 in the second one. So he did not shoot well against Houston, but then he shot well against Denver, the Lakers, and Orlando, although 44%, you can debate if that's shooting well. It's probably shooting a little below average. But his 3-ball, since he's been a Clipper, has not been good. Has not been good at all. And again, a lot of them have been grenades. A lot of them have been late shot clock. You know what I'm saying? But he's got to stay away from the pull-up contested threes. And honestly, maybe the pull-up contested jumpers aren't good looks either. Maybe he's got to take more role player kinds of shots because he has the ability to hit tough shots. But he's averaging 19 points as a Clipper, which is awesome. Second leading after Kawhi in this time. But he's shooting 39, 18.5, 84 splits. The only category there that's acceptable is free throws. 39 and 18.5 splits? No, he's got to shoot better. And I think he's just got to make better decisions about the shots that he's taking. Maybe no contested pull-ups. It doesn't look like he makes them at a high enough clip for that. But I still think he played pretty solid because of his defense. Now, I still love Ben, and I don't know if he'll be a star in this league, but I think he can be really good for us long term. And I'm excited about that. Now, but he's got to put in some work on his shot. Now, Darius Garland. I was skeptical about if he was coming back this season. We heard from Money Mona that he's getting ready. And lo and behold, Monday night, tonight is the night, the special night. I hope you're listening to this before the game at 7 o'clock local time. Golden State. And we're playing on national television. Now, earlier this season, when we played Golden State on national television, we got our asses handed to us, and it was disgusting. So we're on Peacock/NBC again. No Steph Curry, no Jimmy Butler. We've got to win this game. Kawhi Leonard is active. You don't have Porzingis either. We have John Collins in the lineup. No, sorry, no, John Collins is the one that's out. So I don't know. I guess he's getting his neck managed. There was another moment where he was grimacing again, and it looked like he hit his neck. So John Collins is out. We're going to probably start with a lineup of Garland, Jones, Dunn, Kawhi, and Lopez. Kobe Sanders seems to be the odd man out, unfortunately, which sucks. He came in and hit 3 threes like right away yesterday. But I don't know. With Garland back, I understand. Without Garland, I think he should be playing. But now you have 11 guys because Nico, you definitely want to use him. Yanic, for sure. Jordan Miller, for sure. Ben Mathurin, for sure. And then when you get John Collins back, you're moving one of KD or DJ to the bench. So that's 10 already. So it is what it is, unfortunately. But Kobe Sanders has made an impact on this season. He's had a huge role, and I think that he'll be great for the Clippers long term. But oh boy, Darius Garland is back. He's been saying all the right things in the media. We've done a lot of features with him. I saw that he was doing, meeting the swell last night from the court. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there. That would have been great vlogging content to see Darius Garland introduced to Clipper fans. You know what I mean? Meets the swell. But I'm excited, man. Having a younger point guard approaching his prime, a guy that was the 5th pick in the draft in 2019, already been a 2-time All-Star in his 6 full seasons, because this season's been, all over the place for him health-wise, but 2-time All-Star in the first 6 seasons. I'm so excited about what he can bring to the table, what he's going to be able to unlock offensively. We haven't had like a good pick and roll player since we traded Harden, and getting him back is going to make life easier for Kawhi so he doesn't have to have so many just self-created buckets anymore, and get other guys open shots and give us another guy who can score and hit threes as well. So just an exciting player, a second star caliber guy that is going to change the calculus of this team completely. Now, is he going to be on a minutes restriction on Monday night? Probably. So I wouldn't expect too much, but I'm just excited to see Darius Garland in a Clipper uniform. He seems so happy to be here, and this second chapter in his career, I hope, will be a lengthy and healthy one. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Dime Dropper Pod. Subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, where a vlog of all 18 games that I've attended this season are on the channel. You can check those out, especially the last one, which not many people have viewed, but I thought it was a pretty good, exciting game, and I always get thoughts from fans after the game and throughout the night. So check that out. And of course, Locked On Clippers is free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and join the Everydayer Club. Get us up to 9,000 subscribers on YouTube before the end of the season. We got to pass Locked On Thunder. And of course, the Everydayer Club, as I mentioned, an ad-free version of this show, and you get into a Discord chat with me and all other Everydayers and diehard listeners of this show, and I know a lot of you are out there. So join the Everydayer Club. The age-old proverb continues. Go Clippers.